السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ اعتزلتموهم وما يعبدون إلا الله فأووا إلى الكهف ينشر لكم ربكم من رحمته ويهيئ لكم من أمركم مرفقا. صدق الله مولانا العلي العظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد معدن الجود والكرم وآله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت يا حي يا قيوم تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. اللهم يا كريم أكرمنا بنور الفهم وأخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Inshallah Azza wa Jal, today we will continue with the 199th covenant from the Muhammadan covenants. If you remember last week, we spoke about how it was very, very important for a murid, a disciple of a shaykh, that before he announces his mashikha, he is trained, he's given ijazah from the shaykh of tariqah, and only thereafter would he sit down to initiate other people in the path of tariqah. Having said this, a thought came to my mind. I think this is something that graduate scholars also have this challenge because of social media and the fame out there and people being under the spotlight all the time. I think with graduate scholars, sometimes what happens is they always want to be in the spotlight, they want to emerge. Whereas the poet says, मिटा दे अपनी हस्ती को अगर कुछ मर्तबा चाहो कि ये दाना खाक में मिलकर गुलो गुलजार बनता है या गुले गुलजार बनता है. Annihilate the ego if you want to be something, because this seed will only blossom to become a flower in a blossoming garden when it's planted in the ground. But people, instead of this isolation, seclusion, as soon as they step into this world, into this field, they want to become famous. They want to gain reputation. We don't judge people, but this is generally the challenge that I'm talking about. Okay, because it's there, the nafs is there, the fame is there. But this is why Imam Sha'rani rahimahullah mentioned, especially with suluk and tasawwuf, and to be a shaykh, people need to undergo spiritual discipline, struggling with the ego, subduing the ego, and only then, when the shaykh seems or deems fit, will he give ijazah to that murid, becomes a khalifa, and then he is licensed, given the authority to do talqeen with dhikr or sit as a shaykh. And he mentions narrations of great awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how they were very, very, very hesitant and were very strict in terms of giving ijazah or khilafah to anyone. Today, as I mentioned last week, khilafah is spread like you spread butter on bread or margarine, spread everywhere, mashallah. Subhanallah. It's like, Control and P on Microsoft Word, print him out and distribute them. Allahu Akbar. وقد كان سيدي علي المرصفي رحمه الله عزيز الإذن في المشيخة إلا أن يأتيه إذن بذلك من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم مرارا. Shaykh Ali al-Marsafi rahimahullah, whom he mentioned before, the last of the mashayikh, whom Imam Sha'rani says, the last of the mashayikh whom I truly call a shaykh in Egypt, the last of them. He was very hesitant in terms of giving ijazah. Rarely would he give ijazah to anyone. Fil mashikha, to become a shaykh, except when the permission would come directly from the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Not on one occasion, more than one time. On multiple times, if he received ijazah from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then he would give ijazah to that person. Similar to what Al-Azhari rahmatullah alayhi, similar to Al-Azhari's position in terms of teaching people ilmul jafr, the science which is passed down. It is a science of the unseen, and the ijazah would be taken from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mentioned that in Al-Malfud rahimahullah. فَلَمَّا مَاتَ إِنْحَلَّ نِظَامُ الطَّرِيقِ فِي مِصْرَ وَقُرَاهَا. When Shaykh Ali Marsafi rahimahullah passed away, the system of tasawwuf and mashikha and tariqa became completely disrupted, disorderly. And those who weren't even muridun, they became mashayikh, and they then began to talqinu dhikr to people, and people then, instead of learning the faraid of the deed, they now wanted to fly in the air or walk on the sea. They wanted wadha'if and to fly in the air or to control people. In halla nizam al-tariq, it was broken down. The nizam, the system of tasawwuf was broken down completely in Cairo and its suburbs. وما ظهر بعده أحد حذا حظه سوى الأخ الصالح سيد أبي العباس الحريثي رضي الله تعالى. No one appeared after him who followed in the footsteps of Shaykh Ali al-Marsafi rahimahullah, except one Shaykh, he says, the righteous brother Shaykh Abu al-Abbas al-Huraythi, and he mentions about him rahimahullah. وكان يحكي عن سيدي يوسف العجمي أنه لما أراد الله تعالى أن ينقله من بلاد العجم سمع قائلا يقول يا يوسف اذهب إلى مصر انفع الناس. Shaykh Abu al-Abbas al-Huraythi, or then Imam Sha'rani says, Shaykh Ali al-Khawas rahimahullah quotes, mentions about Shaykh Yusuf al-Ajami rahimahullah, that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to make him move from the non-Arab lands to Egypt, Allah ta'ala ne jab chaha ki ye Shaykh अजमी इलाकों से यानी गैर अरब ममालिक से निकलकर कहां पे आए? मिस्र में आए. समिया क़ाइल यक़ूल, he heard a herald, he heard a caller saying, Ya Yusuf idhhab ila Misr infa'in nas. O Yusuf, go to Egypt, benefit the people, extend benefit to mankind. He heard this voice from the unseen. If it was me and you, not me, not you obviously, subhanallah. If it was someone like us, on Facebook immediately, what's up? I've heard this message from Allah, this message from Shuyukh. I've seen this in a dream. I've become someone today. Let's put it on Facebook. I'm hearing this information, this coming from, from Allah. Whereas people don't even understand that at times Allah tests people. As we mentioned about the incident of Shaykh Junaid al-Baghdadi and the disciple. And we need to understand, is the khatir from shaitan or the khatir is from ar-Rahman? People need to understand, is the notion, is the thought from Allah, or the thought, or is it an insinuation of Satan? فَقَالَ shaitan. As soon as Shaykh Yusuf al-Ajami heard this, he said, it's from Satan. For us, we'd accepted, मैं बुजुर्ग बन चुका हूँ, अब मुझे पीर बनना है, अब आप मेरे मुरीद बन जाओ, आ जाओ. ثم ناداه ثانيا فقال شيطان. Then he heard the voice again. He was called again. Oh Yusuf, go to Egypt, benefit people. So he said, Shaitan. No, this is not from Allah. This is from Rahman, this is from Shaitan. He discarded it. ثم ناداه ثالثا فقال شيطان. Look at their mi'yar, look at their yardstick. The thoughts that cross their mind. Today, the Satan talks on the tongue of his minister, which is the nafs, and we regard it as a call from Rahman. Ayyadan billah. So he said shaitan, he discarded it, saying it's some shaitan. فَلَمَّا نَادَاهُ الرَّابِعَةَ قَالَ. The fourth time when he heard this voice, he said, Allahumma. He didn't accept, he said this, Allahumma, O Allah, in kana hadha warida haqqin min jihatika faqlib li hadha an-nahr labanan. O Allah, if this is a signal of truth from you, then turn this river into milk. अगर ये तेरी तरफ से है, ये ऐलान तेरी तरफ से, हकीकतन तेरी तरफ से है, तो इस नहर को तू दूध में तब्दील फरमा दे. He asked for this sign, Ya Allah. حتى أغرف منه بقصعتي هذه, until I'm able to scoop milk from this river with this bowl of mine. فانقلب النهر لبنا, the entire river turned into milk. A sign. وشرب منه, and he drank from it. فعلم أنه وارد حق, أنه وارد حق. So then he acknowledged and he understood that this is a signal of truth from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فلما دخل مصر, but then when he entered Egypt, even though, remember one thing, who commanded him? Allah. Go to Egypt as a shaykh and initiate people in tasawwuf, train them. But look at, subhanAllah, look at their taqwa, look at their ikhlas. I said last week, we used to hear two lions cannot stay in the same den. Two peers can't stay in the same locality nowadays. Illa mashallah. Competition. Yeah, I'm not talking about everyone, but these are the Imam Sha'rani, talking the words of Imam Sha'rani rahimahullah. If someone comes to me and says, where are you getting this from? Read Imam Sha'rani's works, especially Tanbihul Mukhtarreen, Awaqihul Qarn al-Ashir, Ala ma khalafu fihim Salafa Mutayr, or the other book that he has, Al-Anwar al-Qudsiyya fi Ma'rifati al-Qawa'id al-Sufiyya. Who is a true Sufi? What is the conditions of becoming a shaykh? So he entered Egypt. وجد أخاه, when he entered Egypt, فلما دخل مصر وجد أخاه الشيخ حسنا التستري أو تستري سبقه إلى مصر ولكن لم يتصدر للمشيخ. He found his brother, another great sheikh, Hassan al-Tusturi rahimahullah, who had already entered Egypt, but he had not yet emerged as a sheikh. He had not yet led the path of tariqah, not yet emerged to the people. Look at his ikhlas now. Look at this, is what you call ikhlas. Allahumma rzuqna al-ikhlas ya Rabb. आज तो एक दूसरे की टांग खींची जाती है, उसके पास मत जाओ, यानी अकीदे की बात नहीं, उसके पास मत जाओ, ऐसे है वैसे है, यानी ताकि अपनी कंट्रोल रहे, वो दावतें होती रहे और लिफाफे मिलते रहे. Ya salam. فقال له يوسف يا حسن, Sheikh Yusuf al-Ajami said to Sheikh Hassan at-Tustari rahimahullah, الطريق لواحد, the path of tasawwuf and leading people is one. لأنها على الأخلاق الإلهية, because it is based on the divine traits. فإما أن أبرز وتكون وزيري وخادمي وإما أن تبرز وأكون وزيرك وخادمك. So either I appear, emerge as a sheikh, I will lead and you follow as my vizier and my khalif, yani. Or you appear as the sheikh, I will be your khadim, I will be your servant, I will follow you and obey you. You appear as a sheikh and I follow you. Look at this ikhlas. Who today do you hear this today? Giving preference to other people over yourself. No, I lead, I want to lead. My opinion is the best, I'm going to lead. You follow me. फिर यही होता है जो शायर ने कहा, إذا كان الغراب دليل قوم سيهديهم طريق الهالكين. When the crow leads the people, the crow is going to lead people to destruction. فرد الشيخ حسن الأمر لسيد يوسف. Sheikh Hassan al-Tusturi rahimahullah then entrusted the matter to Sheikh Yusuf. He said, you please become the Sheikh, I will be your khadim. فبرز, so the Sheikh emerged. Sheikh Yusuf al-Ajam became the Sheikh, emerged as the Sheikh. وصار سيدي حسن يخدمه إلى أن مات. And Sheikh Hassan, in spite the fact that he was qualified to be one of the prominent shuyukh of Egypt, he served his Sheikh Yusuf al-Ajami until he breathed his last. فَبَرَزَ سَيْدِي حَسَنٌ بَعْدَهُ. This is what you call the barakah of being trained, the barakah of being given ijazah, the barakah of humiliating yourself, humbling yourself first. And then when Allah allows you to appear, then you appear. Not that you appear as a sheikh at the beginning and then you fall. People want to soar high in the sky and they don't understand that the fall from the sky will be detrimental. When you walk on the ladder, you don't jump, because then the fall will be destructive. You take a step by step. And Allah's mentioned this in the way that we have been brought, we grow up. Maulana, your kid, do you think that he walked when he was born? No, they began to crawl. They tripped and they fell, they crawled, and then they managed to take support of an object, and then they stood, and then they walked independently. Today everyone wants to walk independently and become a sheikh overnight. Subhanallah. فبرز سيدي حسن بعد بإذنه له في حياته. Sheikh Hassan then appeared as the sheikh, took on the role of being the sheikh and the pir, after being given explicit ijazah from his sheikh Yusuf al-Ajami in his own lifetime. فأظهر في الطريق العجائب والغرائب, and he demonstrated marvels and extraordinary events, yani karamat, in the path of suluk. One example he mentions here. This is what happens when there are true mashayikh. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects them. Look at how Allah protects the true, sincere mashayikh, and how Allah accepts their du'as. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deserts the enemies, disperses the enemies from them. وَنَزَلَتْ لَهُ الْمُلُوكُ وَالْأُمَرَاءِ. He became such a prominent shaykh, and it's such an inspiration that even the kings and the leaders would nazalat lahu. The literal translation would be not just to meet. The kings and the umara would actually ride on mounts and descend to come and meet Shaykh Hassan at-Tusturi rahimahullah. But what happens when you have fame, and we have true people who have fame and people following them? What happens? Jealousy. Envious people appear. Hasada. So what happened? فَلَمْ تَزَلِ الْحَسَدَةُ يُلْقُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى السُّلْطَانِ الْكَلَامِ الْقَبِيحِ لِيُنَفِّرُوهُ عَنْهُ حَتَّى امْتَنَعَ مِنْ زِيَارَتِهِ. The envious continuously transferred wrong information, misinformed the Sultan. They told, what does it mention here? They continuously, the jealous continuously communicated ugly statements about the Shaykh to the Sultan. They continuously said to the Shaykh, said to the Sultan, the king, the Sultan, he mentions him, his name was Sultan Sha'ban ibn Sultan Hussein. They misinformed the Sultan about the Shaykh. They relayed information about the Shaykh that was completely erroneous, incorrect, saying the Shaykh said this about you. Hasad. They were jealous, envious. Why are you going to visit Shaykh Hassan? He said this about you, he said that about you, he's like this and he's like that, until imtana'a liyunaffiruhu anhu, in an attempt to drive the Sultan away from the Shaykh, in order for that, so that the Sultan has an aversion to the Shaykh, to the extent that they were successful in doing so. And imtana'a min ziyaratihi, the king abstained from visiting the Shaykh. وَأَمَرَ بِسَدِّ بَابِ زَاوِيَتِهِ عَلَيْهِ, and he also commanded the people to board up his zawiyah, his khanqah, close it. And he commanded, iski khanqah jo hai band kar do. Aisa hai, uski khanqah band kar do. وَكَانَ الشَّيْخُ وَالْفُقَرَاءُ خَائِبِينَ فِي وَلِيمَةٍ. So what happened when they boarded up the khanqah? Incidentally, the Shaykh and the fuqara, the Sufis with him, they were out in a banquet, in a food feast, they were invited. فَلَمَّا رَجَعُوا, when they returned آخِرَ النَّهَارِ, at the end of the day, when they returned back, وَجُدُوا بَابَ الزَّاوِيَةِ مَسْدُودًا, they found the doors locked, boarded up, sealed. فَقَالَ الشَّيْخ مَنْ فَعَلَ هَذَا. The Shaykh asked, who did this? Kisne ye kiya hai? فَقَالُوا الْوَزِيرِ, they said the minister of the Sultan. فقال ونحن نسد طيقان بدنه. He sealed our doors, we seal the doors of his body, we seal the faculties of his body, we seal and we close all of his senses. Yani we will destroy him. So what happened? فَعَمِيَ, the first thing, what happened to the vizier, to the minister? He became blind. وَطَرِشَ, thereafter he became deaf, he could not hear. وَخَرِسَ, then he became dumb, could not even speak. Became blind, deaf, dumb. وَانْكَتَمْ مِنَ الْمَخْرَجَيْنِ, yani the Shaykh said, we will seal him. हम इसको पूरा बंद कर देंगे. He was not even able to relieve himself. He was not even able to pass urine or stool. Imagine that. Yani imagine one time if a person is not able to pass urine. Yani there's an incident of Sultan Harun al-Rashid, rahimahullah, Bahlul Dana. And he says, take this water to drink. So he drank it. And he asked, before that he asked the question, if you were in, and this is a side point, if you were in a scorching heat, under the scorching heat in a desert, and you were given one glass in exchange of half of your kingdom, would you buy it? He said, yes, of course I would buy it. I would quench my thirst with even a glass of water. He said, when you've drunk that water, to pass the urine, to take it out of your body, you had to sell half of your kingdom. Would you do that? He said, yes, of course, because it would be excruciating pain. It would be toxic and painful to the body to keep to hold the urine in. He said, then brag about your kingdom, which is not even worth one glass of water and one phase of passing urine. So this is what happened. He could not even pass urine or stool. فَمَاتِ لِوَقْتِهِ, he died immediately. فَبَلَغَ السُّلْطَانُ ذَلِكَ, this reached the sultan. وَقَالُوا إِنَّ هَذَا الْأَمْرَ مَا كَانَ إِلَّا لِمَوْلَانَ السُّلْطَانِ وَالْوَزِيرِ حَمَلَهُ. And they said that this matter, this command, this matter was the matter that was executed by, that was given by, this command was given by the sultan. But who executed it? Who took it? The wazir. And so he was subjected to the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the Hadith Qudsi says, Man aada li waliyan faqad adhantu bil harb. Anyone who bears enmity against any of my wali, I, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, declare war against him. فَنَزَلَ السُّلْطَانُ ثَانِيًا, the second time now the wazir came with utmost humility to Shaykh Hassan لِزِيَارَةٍ, to visit him. وَاسْتَغْفَرَ مِمَّا صَدَرَ مِنْهُ, and he sought forgiveness for what had happened, what he did. وَاعْتَذَرَ مِنْهُ, and he pleaded, urged the Shaykh to excuse him for what he had done. وَكَانَ اسْمُهُ السُّلْطَانُ شَعْبَانُ وَكَانَ اسْمُهُ السُّلْطَانُ شَعْبَانُ ibn Sultan Hussein. The name of the Sultan was Sultan Sha'ban ibn Sultan Hussein. هذه حكاية سيد علي المرصفي رحمه الله. This was what Shaykh Ali al-Marsafi rahimahullah mentioned to me. We will stop at this point. Allah Rabbul Izzat हम सबको इससे सबक हासिल करने की तौफीक अता फरमाए. हमारे तमाम काम और Allah Rabbul Izzat इखलास अता फरमाए. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد معدن الجود والكرم والي